The scribes who destroyed the Library of Alexandria were not arsonists, but rather meticulous record keepers. In the sweltering heat of ancient Alexandria, a city that once rivaled Athens in wisdom and culture, stood a monumental testament to human ingenuity, the Library of Alexandria. This was no ordinary repository of knowledge. It was an architectural wonder, a marvel of Ptolemaic engineering, where scholars from all corners of the Mediterranean came to peruse the accumulated wisdom of the ages. Nestled within the sprawling palaces of Ptolemy II's dynasty, the library sprawled across several city blocks, its sheer scale awe-inspiring. Built around 300 BCE, it was an attempt by the ruling Ptolemies to outdo their Athenian counterparts in a display of scholarship and power. The result was a labyrinthine complex that housed over 700,000 volumes, works on mathematics, astronomy, medicine, philosophy, and literature. Here, some of the greatest minds of the ancient world gathered to share knowledge and debate ideas. Scholars like Euclid and Archimedes walked among rows of scrolls containing the accumulated discoveries of their predecessors, seeking to unravel the mysteries of the universe. The library was a hub of intellectual ferment, where Greek philosophers debated with Jewish sages, Babylonian astronomers discussed the movements of the stars, and physicians sought cures for the most intractable diseases. At its heart, however, lay a more sinister plot, one that would ultimately prove disastrous for this shining beacon of knowledge. The story begins with Ptolemy II himself, who as a young man had been tutored by the great mathematician Euclid. Recognizing the value of his predecessor's work, he vowed to preserve and expand upon it, establishing a network of scholars across Egypt and the Mediterranean. The key players in this drama were the librarians themselves, men and women chosen for their exceptional knowledge and zeal for discovery. These guardians of learning were tasked with acquiring new manuscripts, copying them by hand onto papyrus, and cataloging their contents within an intricate system known as the Pinox. This was no ordinary task. It required dedication, discipline, and a willingness to challenge conventional wisdom. Yet even as Ptolemy II lavished attention on his beloved library, other forces were at work, forces that would soon threaten its very existence. As the Roman Empire expanded across the Mediterranean, Egypt found itself caught in a maelstrom of rivalries and power struggles. The library, with its vast collection of knowledge, became an irresistible prize to be won or lost. The stakes were raised when Ptolemy III, now on the throne, ordered the construction of a massive new library, one that would surpass its predecessor in both size and grandeur. However, it was this very project that ultimately sealed the library's fate. In the sweltering heat of a Ptolemaic summer, the Library of Alexandria teetered on the edge of greatness. This revered repository of knowledge, nestled within the heart of the city's magnificent temple complex, was the epicenter of scholarship and learning. Scholars from all corners of the ancient world flocked to its hallowed halls, seeking wisdom in the vast repositories of texts that lay before them. As Ptolemy III took the throne in 246 BCE, he became increasingly obsessed with expanding his mother's legacy. The library, founded by Ptolemaic benefactor Ptolemy Isoter during the reign of Alexander the Great, had grown into a magnificent edifice, boasting over 700,000 volumes. Scholars labored tirelessly to copy and translate texts from across the Mediterranean, creating a vast, golden-hued canon of human knowledge that shone like a beacon in the darkness. But as Ptolemy III's ambition grew, so too did his paranoia. Rumors spread about Jewish and Christian scholars who posed a threat to his vision for a unified pagan empire. These outsiders were seen as agents of chaos, seeking to undermine the authority of the mighty Ptolemies. With increasing fervor, Ptolemy III began to purge the library's collection of texts deemed heretical or subversive. In 250 BCE, disaster struck. A devastating earthquake ravaged Alexandria, toppling entire city blocks into the sea and sending shock waves through the once stable edifice that was the library. Many believed this calamity was a divine warning, a sign that the gods themselves had grown displeased with humanity's arrogance. Amidst the rubble, scholars frantically scrambled to salvage what remained of their life's work. But it may have been too late. As Ptolemy III delved deeper into the intrigue surrounding these subversive texts, his advisors began to whisper warnings about a conspiracy that threatened the very foundations of their power. They spoke of seditious whispers among the Alexandrian elite, where Jewish and Christian scholars conspired against the Ptolemies, using forbidden knowledge to subvert the empire's authority. One such scholar, a young man named Aristarchus, had already caught the attention of Ptolemy III's inner circle. An ambitious mathematician and astronomer, Aristarchus was accused of spreading heretical ideas about the structure of the universe, specifically that our solar system orbited around the sun, rather than the geocentric model promoted by his fellow scholars. Retention hook. But what happened next changed everything, and what we found will shock you. Ptolemy III's advisors urged caution, warning that Aristarchus's ideas could be a Trojan horse for more insidious subversion. Yet, as Ptolemy III's obsession with the Jewish-Christian threat deepened, he began to see Aristarchus's theories not as heresy, but as proof of a far greater conspiracy, one that imperiled the very fabric of his empire. And so, in 247 BCE, under the guise of maintaining order and upholding the authority of the Ptolemies, Ptolemy III decreed the destruction of Aristarchus's precious texts. The library's once great repository was about to be reduced to ashes, silencing a voice that would have shaken the foundations of an entire civilization. The Library of Alexandria was more than just a repository of knowledge. It was the very heart of ancient Egypt's power and prestige. Its halls were said to contain scrolls upon scrolls of forbidden wisdom, accumulated over centuries of scholarship and trade. The library's reputation had grown so vast that scholars from all corners of the Mediterranean flocked to its doors, seeking answers to life's greatest mysteries. But amidst this tidal wave of curiosity and discovery, a sense of unease settled over the library's leaders. The Ptolemaic dynasty, which ruled Egypt after the death of Alexander the Great, had grown increasingly paranoid about the power that knowledge held. They saw the library as a threat to their authority, a potential breeding ground for dissent and rebellion. As tensions escalated, the library's guardians found themselves caught in a maelstrom of intrigue and deception. It was here, amidst this turmoil, that the most shocking revelation would change the course of history forever. In 48 BCE, the Roman general Julius Caesar arrived in Alexandria with an army at his command. The Ptolemaic ruler, Ptolemy XIII, refused to back down, and the two armies clashed on the battlefield. As Caesar's forces emerged victorious, Ptolemy was forced to flee for his life. But Caesar's arrival had brought more than just military might. It had brought with him a network of spies and informants, tasked with rooting out any dissent or disloyalty within the Ptolemaic court. And among those targeted was none other than Hypatia, the library's most prominent scholar and mathematician. This brilliant woman had once been hailed as one of the greatest minds of her time, but now she found herself facing a death sentence. Hypatia's fate serves as a stark reminder of the perils that lurked in every corner of ancient Egypt. The very pursuit of knowledge was not enough to shield its practitioners from the whims of power-hungry leaders. As Hypatia walked through the streets, her reputation and abilities making her a target for elimination, she could hardly have foreseen the events that would soon unfold. The aftermath of Caesar's victory brought with it a new order, one in which the Ptolemaic dynasty was cast aside like yesterday's trash. The Roman Empire had arrived, and with it came a fresh wave of patronage and support for the library. But this newfound backing also came with strings attached, and, as the library's leaders soon discovered, their very freedom hung precariously in the balance. The fire that would eventually consume the great library was not just a product of chance or accident. It was a deliberate act of sabotage, orchestrated by none other than Julius Caesar himself. The Roman general had grown disillusioned with Ptolemy Xii's continued resistance and had decided to take drastic action. As the flames engulfed the library, a piece of history went up in smoke, along with a vast portion of human knowledge that could never be replaced. In the end, it was not the loss of scrolls or texts that left an indelible mark on our collective psyche, but the loss of an era itself. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria marked a turning point in the annals of history, one from which we would never truly recover. As we stand today, we are reminded of what was lost and what might have been, a poignant reminder that sometimes even the greatest treasures come at a terrible cost. The Library of Alexandria's grandeur was not just a testament to human ingenuity, but also a beacon of knowledge that shone brightly in the ancient world. Its demise was a catastrophic event that would leave an indelible mark on history, serving as a poignant reminder of the fragility of civilization and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition. As we stand at the precipice of this monumental loss, it becomes increasingly clear that the library's destruction was not merely a tragic accident, but rather a calculated act of destruction perpetrated by those who sought to suppress the truth. The Alexandrian Library, with its vast collection of scrolls and manuscripts, held the key to understanding the world, its secrets, and the mysteries of the universe. It was a treasure trove of human knowledge, a repository of wisdom that spanned centuries, and a testament to the power of the human mind. In the aftermath of its destruction, the library's legacy lay in tatters, its once vast collection scattered to the winds, leaving behind only whispers of what had been. The loss was incalculable, with some estimates suggesting that up to 500,000 volumes were lost forever. Can you imagine a world without the works of Aristotle, Euclid, or Galen? A world where the secrets of medicine, astronomy, and mathematics remained locked away, never to be rediscovered? The thought is almost too bleak to contemplate. Yet, even in the midst of such devastation, there was a glimmer of hope. The library's destruction served as a catalyst for a new era of scholarship, one that would see scholars and sages poring over the few remaining texts, seeking to rebuild the knowledge that had been lost. The seeds of knowledge were sown, and it was from these tiny, scattered remnants that the foundations of modern scholarship would eventually be laid. Today, we can appreciate the library's significance in a way that its ancient creators could never have imagined. We live in an age where access to information is limitless. Yet this very abundance has also led to a loss of nuance and depth. In an era where Google answers every question and Wikipedia provides a wealth of knowledge at our fingertips, we risk forgetting the value of human curiosity and the importance of seeking truth through exploration and discovery. As we reflect on the library's tragic demise, we are reminded that history is not just a series of dates and events. It is also a testament to the human condition. It is a reminder that our greatest achievements can also be our most devastating failures, and that even in the darkest of times, there lies the seed of something new and wondrous. The Library of Alexandria's story serves as a powerful warning that knowledge is power, but also that it must be wielded responsibly, lest we forget the true meaning of wisdom. So, I ask you, what would be the world like if all our historical texts, manuscripts, and scrolls were lost forever? How would we even begin to imagine such a reality? or to rebuild from its ashes? Share your thoughts in the comments below.